Hey, today I want to give you the rundown on the giant crow skull mask. This is the first project of its kind for the Maslow team to use a material that isn't wood for our project, so it was kind of experimental, and I want to let you know about some of the interesting things we found. This material is Coroplast, and it's held together entirely with zip ties, and that's it. Because of these few things, you can see it's very lightweight and also very durable with some flex in it, which makes it pretty great for a mask for a play or just a costume or a parade, whatever you want. So I wanted to make sure that we could demonstrate that this kind of thing was possible with the Maslow. The material itself is corrugated plastic. You can see here's a scrap. We encountered two interesting problems with the Maslow with this material. The first thing is that the bit sort of created a fringe on the material. The cut itself is very straight, but you can kind of see like a little bit of plastic left on the edges here, and it dropped a lot of that during the cut and after. And so before I started putting it together, I tried to knock a bunch of that into the trash can, and I also hit it with the vacuum to get rid of that. Don't want to be shedding little plastic particles everywhere. Not good. So if you're going to make one of these, make sure to keep an eye on that. The other thing is that the Maslow, as it was drilling holes, it wasn't moving fast enough. This was probably the way I set it with my CAM software. So when it came to the hole drilling, a lot of heat built up in the bit, and it actually began to melt the plastic to the bit. You can see in this video that there's a little bit of white on the bit, and it actually just kept getting worse, and we eventually stopped the cut because we wanted to not have it clog up our bit and get it really gummed up. Here's a photo after we took the bit out of the machine. It's kind of crazy. So because of that, I ended up punching all of the holes by hand instead, which took a while, but it was pretty easy with one of those metal punches that's spring-loaded. Just kind of went through and stabbed them all. So after those two sort of hiccups, we were ready to assemble. The material is quite forgiving, so I wasn't really worried about like any of the zip ties tearing out, and I went through and I zip tied each piece together. It kind of felt like sewing a little bit, but here's a look at the inside with a couple hundred zip ties in there, and it took me 6 hours, and I don't want to minimize that. If you decide to tackle a project like this, it takes a while. But ultimately, it created a pretty cool, lightweight mask, so I'm not too mad about that. This pattern comes from a cosplay shop on Etsy, so we're not going to release the files, but we will link to that shop below so that if you're interested in patterns like these, you can go there and check them out. So, let us know what you think and if you decide to make one of these. Yeah.